Nah, man, I don't think I'm ready yet. Maybe later, maybe one day when everything is in order. Maybe in a couple of years' time I'll start doing it. I don't know, man. It's tough, bro. I just don't think I can do it.
Most of us experience that particular moment of hesitation when it comes to making a bold or daring decision to pursue something that we have always considered pursuing. Heck, even we have those same feelings of hesitation when we are simply trying something brand new to add to our experiences, such as trying a new food that we've never even tasted before. But obviously, those are different caliber or weight of expectations, and naturally, the bigger the stakes or risks are, the more hesitant we feel. When it comes to us taking that first big leap to pursue an endeavor or a vocation, that usually comes with big risks and also big expectations. Because usually we take a lot of time before that to prepare and gather every possible information and knowledge that we could find, and take part in endless discussions by overwhelming ourselves with opinions and feedbacks in order to put us in a much better position to start implementing them when we are in the battlefield. But the problem that most people have is that while they gather all this necessary information for future implementation, oftentimes they never actually start implementing them or even take that big leap in the first place. Why is that? The answer comes back to that particular word, expectations. In this current digital world, we are constantly fixated on the word success and its definition. We are fed nearly every day to the narrative of this off-the-scale caliber of success that is portrayed in the media and by society. And those portrayals subconsciously became the measure and the mean standard for our own expectations of ourselves. Your own fear in being unable to meet those standards of success inevitably translates into a fear of your own insufficiency and incapability to produce good results. You froze in place and become emotionally petrified at the magnitude of the tasks that lie ahead. That is why we hesitate to the point of absurdity, where oftentimes we always say to ourselves, "Oh, the timing isn't right. Oh, I need more time to prepare. Oh, I'm not experienced enough yet. Oh, I don't think I have enough knowledge about this yet." It is not so much about your fear of failure, but more towards the unrealistic expectations you have over yourself because of the content that you consume every day. The truth is, those portrayals of over-the-top successes are either the eventual results after years of work that you've never saw taking place, or they are simply manufactured for the purpose of earning validations in order to satiate an empty self-esteem. Let me tell you something. No one is ever fully prepared for anything when they are just starting out. There is no such thing as the right time to start to do something. There is no such thing as being 100% sure when you take a leap of faith. No one is ever good enough when they start. You would not know how deep the water truly is until you take a dip into the waters yourself. You would not know how to properly run a business until you actually start running one. You will not know how to properly play a game until you start playing the game. The amount of theoretical knowledge that you can have over an endeavor are peanuts in comparison to the amount of practical knowledge you'll accumulate by actually being in the midst of the battlefield and getting your hands dirty in doing it. You can watch all the YouTube videos all you want about fitness and self-improvement, but if you don't implement them to your daily lives and routines, how are you supposed to know if those theories actually worked for you in your own unique set of circumstances? If, for example, you watch my videos and leave it at that, my videos are nothing but meaningless or empty words of encouragement, and I have failed in what I do. There is nothing wrong in being well prepared before going into battle. In fact, I subscribe to this principle myself. But it is wrong when you become over-fixated on the theories to the point where you refuse to implement them to see the results for yourself in practice, because you fear in being in the wrong or being deemed as incompetent. Knowledge without practice are simply hypotheses and assumptions. Here is the brutal reality. No matter how much information and knowledge you can possibly gather, no matter how prepared or ready you think you are, you can never fathom the unpredictability and the chaos that is reality. Reality is uncontrollable. We cannot control future events, and it is our job to adapt and make adjustments along the way to better facilitate or suit our own circumstances. Knowledge and information are merely nutrients for the soil, and at the heat of the moment where they are applicable, they are ready at our disposal to be implemented. The greatest strategists are not those who have the most knowledge and information. It is those who are able to pick and implement key points of those knowledge and information in accurate accordance to their present reality, and those whose minds are malleable enough to quickly adapt to the ever-changing and evolving nature of this world in order to cultivate new knowledge to apply to their present circumstances. Be water, my friend. Those words have so much meaning than it initially seemed. It is more than just about being able to adapt. When something stopped moving, they rot and die. That is why the water in a lake is dirty and the water in a river is clean. The river keeps moving, that is why they are able to slowly break barriers of rocks and soil to pave ways for them to further flow through, whereas the lake just stays there collecting algae until the end of time. Do not get too religiously dependent and invested in theories or assumptions and then refuse to apply or implement them to reality because you are afraid that you will make a mistake or face failure. You can't and will never be 100% sure when you are just starting out. If you're 60 or 70% sure, just go for it. And when you do start, almost always everything that you've planned beforehand will not materialize the way that you initially want them to be. Majority of your plans will turn into moments of improvisations, adaptations, and adjustments. That is why the majority of the learning is done along the way after you start. When I started YouTube, I have no idea what click-through rates meant, or what tags meant, or how the statistics work. And as much as I gathered information on how to properly start a YouTube channel, I can't properly relate to that knowledge because I haven't even started implementing any of them yet. It is only when I start and when I was well along the way that I can finally relate, and most of them were not in correlation with my present circumstances back then. So I had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own that can facilitate the reality of the circumstances that I'm in. And even today, I'm still learning like a white belt. We always learn from discomfort, not from being comfortable. That is why if my videos make you uncomfortable or make you realize your own weaknesses and deficiencies or even pisses you off, then I have done my job proper. There is no such thing as a comfortable linear growth when it comes to pursuing an endeavor, because I know majority of us wanted a stress-free journey which simply does not exist in reality. You will never know how good enough you really are until you put your work out there and get criticized, because the market is the one that determines the reality of your performance. That is just the uncomfortable truth. So don't buy into the stupid narrative of what's important is that I did my best, where your best will be decided if it's good enough by the people that genuinely judge your work. If your best is not good enough, not a lot of people would give a shit about it. It is your right but not your obligation to talk about your qualities and failures, because it is the market's job to find out. Regardless of how good or badly you perform, this is the battlefield that I'm talking about. And this will be the main source of those improvisations, adaptations, and adjustments that I mentioned. This is where the real fun begins, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. You will become even more sure of yourself and your work when you are well deep within your pursuit and start to accumulate successes. But of course, let's be real here. What if you are actually not good enough? What if you actually have to start from ground zero? What if you actually have absolutely no familiarity or experience but have the fascination and the curiosity to pursue something? Because I get this question even from my own mates, and my answer is simple. You may not be good enough to start yet, but you are always good enough to start learning. And if you still think that you are not good enough to start learning, well then the only option that you have left is to rot and die like the lake that doesn't move. But you are human, and human beings have the choice to move. And if you choose to remain still, then you will be left to deal with your own ignorance, stupidity, and cowardice on your own. Thank you for watching.